More stories linking Manchester United to Valencia goalkeeper Georgi Mamardashvili. Pellistri to Panathinaikos looks like it is on. McTominay to Napoli takes a surprising twist. And should Manchester United go for Ivan Toney? These are some of the stories we will be discussing on this evening's show. But before we get into that, please do me one small favour. Smash a like on today's video. Let's try and see 1,000 likes on this episode. And if this is your first time watching, please do subscribe to the channel. We're very, very close to 40,000 subscribers. So if this is your first time watching, make sure you get involved. Everyone is welcome. Right. I want to first start off the show by reacting to some quotes from the director of football at Napoli. He was asked earlier on today, before Napoli's first Serie A game, about whether they're trying to sign Scott McTominay. So this is the direct quote from Giovanni Manna, who is the director of football at Napoli. He says, "McTominay is a very good player, but then he's not our player, so no comment." He says, "Full focus on the game, and then we will go back to transfers." So he's obviously going to keep it relatively hush-hush. You know, they never can say, "Oh yeah, we're trying to sign him." That's just not how football works. But we know for a fact that McTominay is in talks with Napoli. We know for a fact that he's agreed personal terms. We know for a fact that they want to sign him. The issue or the stumbling block that we have is that apparently Napoli need to sell Victor Osimhen first. The director of football also was asked about Victor Osimhen. And he said that Victor Osimhen will be leaving the club this summer. They're trying to find a solution for him. And he has effectively told them he wants to go. So it's a matter of time before Victor Osimhen leaves, I think. And obviously with Chelsea looking like how they were today, I just think that Chelsea will go all out for Victor Osimhen. You know, Nicholas Jackson is not, for me, the level of what Chelsea need. And I think someone like Victor Osimhen would take Chelsea from here all the way up to here. You know, they'd go from being kind of average to, you know, could achieve mad things, I think, this season. So yeah, that's one to keep an eye on. McTominay has agreed personal terms with Napoli. He wants to go there. He's happy to leave Manchester United. He's aware that he's not going to be a first team player next season. So it looks like that is one that will go through. Obviously, we just have to wait for Victor Osimhen to move somewhere else. But let's move on from that though. And I want to talk a little bit about Ivan Toney. And I want to ask you guys this. Do you think Manchester United should go in for Ivan Toney? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. To give you a bit of context, obviously Højlund is injured. He's out for around 6 weeks with a hamstring injury. He had the same injury last season, a hamstring injury, which he was out for quite a few games. And then so our only striker at the moment is obviously Joshua Zirkzee. Do you think we need another striker? And if you do you think Ivan Toney would be a good option for the attacking line? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section right now. I'll give you mine in a couple of minutes, but let's give you the news on Ivan Toney. So Ivan Toney was left out of Brentford's 2-1 victory over Crystal Palace today. And Thomas Frank was asked about why Ivan Toney wasn't playing. And he effectively said that Ivan Toney is in talks to leave the club. There are various clubs interested in him, and effectively he's not going to play because of that, because he's effectively leaving. Now, apparently Brentford is still asking for somewhere around 40 to 50 million pounds, which I think is a lot. 28 years of age, 1 year left on his contract. If he stayed until January, he could agree a pre-contract agreement then. So yeah, I think they'd be lucky to get 40 or 50 million for him. In hindsight, Saudi clubs apparently are circling for Brentford's Ivan Toney. I would be a little bit surprised if Ivan Toney went to Saudi. Like, he says he wants to leave Brentford because he wants to play Champions League football, or he wants to play European football of some sort, right? Like, you only go to Saudi to earn money. You don't go to Saudi because obviously you can't be in the Champions League, can you? You can't be in the, like, I just don't understand that move. And the only motivation really would be for financial gain, wouldn't it? That's the only reason people go to Saudi Arabia. People can tell you otherwise. Ronaldo can say that, you know, the Saudi league's better than the French league and all the rest of it. But in reality, most players want to stay in Europe and continue playing in Europe until, you know, they're at the very, very end of their career. And obviously, Ivan Toney is only 28. He's in the England squad. Like, it would be a bit of a strange move for me. But do I think Manchester United should go in for him? If there was a genuine possibility that we could do that deal and we had enough money to do it and we could raise funds from selling people, like, I think he'd be an interesting option. I don't think he fits the age profile of Ineos, though. Obviously, they're looking for players, you know, 25 and under. And obviously, Ivan Toney's 28, I think. He might even be 29 this year. So I wouldn't really get it from that perspective. But is Ivan Toney a good player? Yes. Would I like to see him at Manchester United? Yes. But do I think he would be a good signing? I'd say it's kind of 50-50, to be honest. I think he'd cost a lot of money. He'd want big wages. He'd probably want guarantees that he's going to get picked every week, which I don't think Manchester United would be able to offer him, because, you know, you can't then just bench Højlund and Zirkzee. Like, what would happen to those two? So yeah, it's a little bit of a difficult one, but I would like Ivan Toney. I just think that the money involved in it, the wages involved in it, I just think it would be too much for Manchester United this window. But obviously, I'll keep you updated on that one. It looks like Ivan Toney will leave Brentford this summer, and Manchester United are supposedly one of the clubs that are interested in him. Moving on from that, I want to talk a little bit about the Valencia goalkeeper, Georgi Mamardashvili, because the news coming out this evening from multiple different journalists here in the UK is that apparently Mamardashvili is very open to joining Manchester United this summer. The story says that United have been long-term admirers of Mamardashvili, but would need to sell some players before they could put in an official bid. I still think that another goalkeeper is probably quite important, to be honest, because Altay Bayındır is probably going to leave. Like, he's the Turkish national team goalkeeper and he's sat on the bench. It's pretty harsh on him. Onana, I still think there's a lot of question marks over. I hope Onana comes good this season, but if Onana has another poor year, I think next summer there will be people saying we need to buy a new goalkeeper, you know? And I hope that doesn't happen, and I hope that, you know, Onana proves everyone wrong, but I don't know. I just struggle to see it at the moment, and I want nothing more than to be proved wrong. By the way, like, I support Onana. I want him to, you know, to come good and all the rest of it. But at the moment, whenever I watch him, he doesn't really fill me with any confidence. And obviously, this Georgi Mamardashvili guy had an amazing Euros. I think he'd be a really, really interesting signing, and he's available for only 30 million, which I think is quite fair. So I would be interested in bringing him in, but I think in reality, obviously Liverpool are quite advanced in that deal. Obviously, we brought you the story this morning that apparently United are trying to hijack Liverpool's deal for him, which I think sounds great in theory, but, you know, in reality, where's the money going to come from to buy this guy? Like, I just don't think it seems very realistic. Now, if Altay Bayındır leaves in the next couple of weeks of the window, then maybe, you know, Manchester United go and do a deal like this. But at the moment, we know that the priority is Emmanuel Ugarte. We know that Man United are considering another left-back, maybe even another centre-back. So I think the goalkeeper at the moment is pretty far down the pecking order. But obviously things can change, you know. Maybe Onana gets injured. Maybe Bayındır decides to leave and then we need another goalkeeper. But yeah, obviously I'll keep you updated on that one as and when we get more information. And then the next story I've got for you this evening is on Facundo Pellistri. This is coming out from The Athletic. It's coming out from Fabrizio Romano. It's coming out from all of the big, you know, the big journalists. And they're all reporting that apparently Facundo Pellistri is on the brink of joining Panathinaikos, the Greek side. We actually spoke about this story maybe a month ago, about apparently Panathinaikos negotiating with Manchester United for Pellistri. But it looks like they now have kind of come to the end of this negotiation. Manchester United apparently have asked for 10 million euros, which I think is quite low, to be honest, but he's only got 1 year left on his deal. He's clearly not going to get any game time at Manchester United. I think that's safe to say. He turns 23 in a couple of months' time. Like, the best thing for Pellistri would be for him to go out and get some game time. And he's obviously not going to get that at Manchester United. Now, we only signed him for 8.5 million. So if we got 10 million euros for him, it would be a slight profit. I mean, it's not very much of a profit, but a profit is a profit. And the alternative is that he stays at Manchester United. He's unhappy this season. He doesn't play. And then he leaves for free in 12 months. And I think, you know, even though people will say, oh, he should have got game time, he's better than Antony, whatever, like, maybe that's true. The fact of the matter is now, he's just not going to play. Like, and for that reason alone, I think, you know, you have to release him, you have to let him go. And if we can get 10 million euros for him, I don't think it's the end of the world. The Athletic are also reporting that apparently Manchester United will insert a sell-on clause of around 50%. So if he does well over in the Greek league and then somebody else buys him, Manchester United will get half of that money. And the Athletic are also reporting that Pellistri has now agreed a 4-year deal with Panathinaikos. So that one looks like it will happen. I don't really feel like excited or not excited for this one. I think it's a shame. I think Pellistri looked like he had a lot of potential, but you know, he's about to turn 23, and I don't think you can just keep somebody just because of potential. Like, if he doesn't have a route to the first team, which he doesn't, then you may as well get rid of him. You know, there's no point keeping him here for one more season, for him to then leave in 12 months for nothing and us have no money. Like, but that's my take on that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I know quite a lot of people who watch this channel like Pellistri, and quite a lot of people seem quite upset by the fact that, you know, he didn't get opportunities and that Antony did and all the rest of it. And I get it, I do. But that's how football is sometimes. You know, managers have their favourites. Erik Ten Hag clearly likes Antony. He clearly feels like, it's his responsibility to make Antony work after spending 95 million euros on him. So I do get it. It is frustrating. And I wish Pellistri all the best. I've got no hard feelings towards him. I hope he goes to the Greek league and, absolutely rips it up and, gets a move to a bigger European club in the future. But let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comment section, and make sure you let me know about Ivan Toney. I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. I will be back tomorrow morning at 8:30 for a live show. Please make sure to smash a like before you leave. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. This has been Daily Red Devil. Have a lovely evening, and I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Bye for now.